What's going on YouTube? Earth Power here, bringing you another Duel Masters deck profile. Today we've got the double header, the two deck competition deck winners. The first one was presented or given to me by Stormraider. We'll be going over, or not Stormraider, yeah, we can do Stormraiders first, his Glais Mejicula build, and our second build after that is going to be Skatemancory's Bolly-Trigger, which is something I've just come to call it. So check out the links below, or not the links below, but the description below. The decks are going to be listed down there if you guys are interested in them, and I'll be reviewing them here. So let's get started. The first one is, like I said, Stormraider's Glais Mejicula. The deck runs 3 Glais Mejicula, the extreme. What this card does is he is an evolution of an initiate. It's 2 mana, 5,500 power, pretty big. And whenever one of your shields would be broken, you may discard 2 cards from your hand instead. Now this guy works really well with what the rest of the deck is trying to accomplish, which we will get into a little bit later, but just keep his effect in mind and we'll keep going over the list. As far as bait for getting out Glais Mejicula, from the Light Civilization we have 4 Sarius and 4 Magris. Sarius function as your main bait for Glais Mejicula, while Magris focuses as the deck's main draw power. The deck is nature light, so Magris, since it's not running water, we really don't have a draw engine or a very consistent draw engine in the deck, and Magris is really your only major draw power. So both of them being excellent bait choices for the Glais Mejicula. Since we are running so much initiate bait for Glais Mejicula, Craze Valkyrie, 2 of them, which is kind of a natural choice for this deck. Evolution of an initiate, when he's summoned, tap 2 cards on the opponent's side of the field, and he's a double breaker. He's a great finisher, great for getting rid of big threats like Bolly and Cryptic, and overall just helping to tap the opponent's field and just control the field. Tapping is just an excellent way to take control of the opponent's field, as we've seen with cards like Techno Totem, and Craze Valkyrie is kind of the head of that kind of charge and attack, as to where he's just a big threat. He's an evolution, so he can attack when you summon him, and then tapping 2 cards lets you immediately get rid of whatever the biggest threat is on your opponent's field. To finish up light creatures, we have 2 Dava torey. When he's discarded from the hand during the opponent's turn, keep that in mind. He has to be discarded from your hand during the opponent's turn. You can put him into the battle zone instead. Now this is how this works with Glais Mejicula. Your opponent breaks shields on their turn. You discard cards from your hand, such as Dava torey, and you get to summon into the field. So you wind up protecting your shields and getting free summons with Dava torey. This deck was, I guess, a rough draft by Stormraider, so I would make a lot of changes. Like, I would streamline it to make it focus more around the Glais Mejicula, getting out, like, run 4 Dava toreys. The deck, as you'll see later, runs Sanfist and this terradragon, which have the same effect as Dava torey, and I would put all those guys at 4, put Glais at 4, and just streamline the deck and make it solely focused on discarding cards out of your hand during the opponent's turn. But this was the build that Stormraider gave, and as you saw in the video, it worked out for him. It beat Bolly-Trigger. So yeah, 2 Dava torey. The last creature in the light section that Stormraider ran was 1 Chen Treg, Vizier of Blades. Now he's an initiate, which lets him be bait for Craze and Glais, but the real star factor for this card is that he has the same effect as Techno Totem, as to where you can tap him to activate this effect and tap one of your opponent's creatures. Now, since the deck was running Nature Light, I assume that Stormraider just didn't have Techno Totem, and that's why he chose not to run it. But or maybe it was the fact that Chen Treg is also an initiate, which is why I decided to run one, but I would actually run totems over him. You have enough bait and initiates using Sanfist, Magris, and Sarius, so I didn't see like the initiate here being necessary. And he's 5 mana also, whereas Totem is 4 mana, has more power, and gives everything plus 1,500 while attacking. So Techno Totem would be a better choice over Chen Treg, but Stormraider chose Chen Treg over it, and it has its benefits, but yeah, I like Technototem better, but Shin Treg works here. To finish off the light section, we have spells. One lightning charger. It's a charger. When you use it, it goes to the mana zone instead of the graveyard, and tap one of your opponent's creatures. It's good for cheap removal. If you have something on the field and you need to get rid of it, tap it and then kill it with one of your creatures. And then the coup de grace light spells, Holy All, tap all of your opponent's creatures, shield trigger. Just a really good card. The deck runs Nexus, as you'll see in a little bit, so 4 Holy Alls is really useful with that. Next we'll get into nature. We'll go over some of the nature creatures first. 4 quixotic. The deck is more of an aggro deck than anything else, with the Glais Mejicula engine built into it, which I liked, and that's kind of why I won. But it runs 4 quixotic, 4 bronze arm tribe as a quick way to build mana, get yourself up to a point to where you can Craze Valkyrie early, and then early quick attackers with a lot of power. Quixotic's ability does stack to where you can get up to like 7,000, 10,000 power if you summon more than one creature on a certain turn. It can get really, or it can become really hard to get rid of. So, really good aggro cards here, really good aggressive, just mana building and creature attacking cards. 2 Charmilia, the Enticer. The deck is kind of low on draw power, so Charmilia kind of acts as a way to tap, and she's basically a Dimension Gate tap ability. You can tap her instead of attacking to search your deck for a creature and put it into your hand. Great effect. If you can keep it going a couple turns, it can turn into a huge plus for you. You can just get whatever you need, whether that be finishers or bait for your evolution cards. As you saw when CVH ran the build, he wound up being able to, or no, he actually used terahorn, but Charmilia did see play, but it just acts as a way to generate a little bit of hand advantage and kind of keep what you want in your hand, get the guys that could be discarded from your hand so you can use them with Glais Mejicula. Charmilia's just got a lot of benefits that work really well in this deck. 2 Rumbling Terahorn, again, is not really, since the deck doesn't have draw power, it acts as a search and lets you pretty much stream basically for whatever creature you want, more or less. Instead of the random draw 2, you're getting exactly what you want to your hand when you need it, and Terahorn just acts as that. This is the card that CVH used in order to get Glais Mejicula, evolve his blocker, and then be able to attack and swing for game that turn in the last video for when the deck competition, or when the decks were pitted against each other in the feature match. 1 Fighter Dual Fang evolution. You're running 4 Bronze Arm, 4 Sanfist, 4 Quixotics, so the evolution's kind of cool here. He just acts as another finisher over Craze. Guy's 8,000 power, can get over a lot of really big things, and generates 2 more mana. So the deck, if you do happen to have a hand after turn 6 or 7, you can start summoning a lot of things using all the mana you have to your advantage, or start searching for cards and being able to summon them the same turn that you search them. So this is another card. Has the same effect as Dava, to where if he's discarded during the opponent's turn, you can summon him instead. He's a double breaker and has 6,000 power for 8 mana. The cost isn't really something you're concerned about here. You basically just want to use it with Glais' effect to be able to discard it. And like I said, if I was streamlining the deck to make it totally focused around Glais, I would be running 4 of him, 4 Dava, and the 4 Sanfist, as you'll see later. And to round off nature, we have the nature spells, 3 mana Nexus, and 4 natural snare. Snare acts as your basic go-to removal card for the deck. Since you're not running darkness, you don't have since you're not running dark or fire, you really don't have straight up removal sent to the graveyard. So snare acts as your terror pit here, acts as your apocalypse vice to get rid of big threats, and Nexus helps you get back if you have to set these guys down in mana early, which is something you're probably going to want to do early on so you can play your quicker cards. Mana Nexus helps you recycle those later and use their trigger abilities. Finally, multi-civs. We have 4 Sky Sword, the Savage Visor. Again, he's another initiate and a beast folk, so it can be used as evolution bait for Fighter Dual Fang, Craze Valkyrie, Glais Mejicula. and he has a pretty cool effect. Like Wind Axe, he lets you generate +1 mana, and then instead of killing a blocker like Wind Axe would, you get to put a shield down into your shield zone instead. So Wind Axe acting as a kind of protection. It's really good against rush, gives you that extra shield, whereas if it gets you down to no shield, you're kind of fighting with your back against the wall the whole duel. It just kind of gives you a little more help in generating shields and working around quicker based aggro decks, quicker based rush decks, and stuff like that. And then finally, for Sanfist, has the same effect as Dava torey and the terradragon. I'll say delacerna. I don't know how to say its name. Arque delacerna. I'm not going to remember that. But Sanfist has the same effect as those two. He is actually running 4 of those, which is good. It is a blocker, which is really useful, and it can attack. So double bonus points there. And then 3 mana, 3000 power, Beast Folk Initiate. He's evolution bait for all the evolutions that you're running in this deck. And again, multi-civ, nature light, so it just works out really well for this deck. And that is Stormraider's Glais Mejicula Aggro. So now we are going to get into Skatemancory's Bolly-Trigger. This was my this was the deck that I immediately picked and decided on. This was the first deck that I had decided on before, while the competition was finishing up, that I knew that, I mean, this deck really had just blown me away. It's something I never thought to try before, and while the idea was really cool, it didn't work. Like, it looked really good on paper, it didn't work out too well in the duel features. I do have some ideas on how to fix it up, and I'm going to try to play around with the list. I was actually talking to Gino about this deck a lot over the past week, and we've got some pretty good ideas on what we want to do with the deck, and I'm thinking about like adding a water sip to it and all that. But let's go over the list and then I'll talk about that. So the only 2 creatures that this deck runs are, I'm just going to show you 1 card for each one. This deck runs 10 different cards, and it runs them in multiples of 4. So every card you see is being run 4 of. So we're running 4 Bomidius, 4 Bronze Arm Tribe, and these are the only creatures in the entire deck. Bronze Arm Tribe to generate mana, and 4 Bollies as your finisher. The deck's main focus is to get out Bomidius, keep him out, and just keep hacking away at shields. And Bronze Arm Tribe is just here to generate mana and get yourself up to 7 as quick as possible so that you can drop Bomidius as soon as possible. Go over nature now. For Faerie Life, again, you want to generate mana, you want to get up to 7 as quick as possible in order to play Bomidius as soon as possible, get him out by like turn 5. Turn 5 is the ideal turn that you want to get Bolly out, turn 4 or 5, so Faerie Life is definitely helping to get you there. 4 Dimension Gate to search out Bolly, get Bronze Arm Tribes to help you get up to the mana to get out Bolly. And again, it's a trigger. This deck runs, out of 40 cards, it runs 28 triggers. So when they're swinging away at triggers, or swinging away at shields, they're probably going to hit a trigger that is in some way going to benefit you. And then 4 Soul Swaps works out great if you can Faerie Life. Turn 2, Bronze Arm Tribe. Turn 3, you'll be at 6 mana on turn 4, so you can Soul Swap that Bronze Arm Tribe out for Bolly and have a Bomidius Steel Dragon on turn 4 on your side of the field. So that can be really threatening early on for the opponent, as they might not have an answer for it till their own turn 6. And by that point, Bolly would have made a few good swings at their shields and hurt them enough to where they either need to get rid of it now or come up with an answer for it. So 4 Soul Swaps are really good. The only 2 other fire cards that we're running other than Bomidius is 4 Tornado Flame. It is just another kill card, shield trigger, hits 4,000 or less. This is going to hit almost every major attacker in the game, and can get rid of Tajamals, anything that could get in Bomidius' way per se, that Bomidius doesn't want to see. It doesn't want to see Tajamal, because that's one of the earliest, easiest answers to Bomidius, and can really put a stunt in the deck if you don't have the Tornado Flame or some sort of removal to get rid of it early on. 4 Burst Shot is your anti-rush tech. Rush can really hurt this deck a lot since it doesn't have a creature base to back the field up with. so you're going to want to be able to kill all their creatures when they summon them, and burst shot just helps you annihilate as many of them as possible, as fast as possible. So yeah, 4 burst shots. And the last section is darkness. We're running 4 cranium clamps. Going Faerie Life cranium clamp can really be devastating because you're hitting your opponent with a cranium clamp on turn 3. Especially if you go first, you're hitting them with cranium clamp before they've had a chance to use their energy stream, and can really put a stunt in the opponent's deck. Whereas a turn 4 cranium clamp can sort of be dealt with if you can get that stream off before they clamp. Turn 3 clamp is even more devastating, so really good pick here. 4 dark reversals is your recursion spell and a trigger in order to get back Bolly's Steel. If Bolly dies, you want to be able to get it back. You have a way to recycle it through the mana with Soul Swap, and Dark Reversal gives you the ability to cycle it through your graveyard. And now finally, the last dark card is 4 Terror Pits. Acts as your major kill spell. Just get rid of any major threat on the board at the time, and just eliminate any threats that could get in Bolly's way, or anything that is posing a threat to you that you want to get rid of in order to keep the deck's synergy alive until you get Bolly out and can start swinging away. So yeah, that's Bolly-Trigger. Those 10 cards. Like I said, the lists are below. Check out the links below as well. The link for the channel, the link for my blog, which hasn't been updated in like a month and a half. So I will be hopefully getting back to that now that I'm back up here at college and have stuff to actually talk about. So check that out, and other cool links are going to be in the description as well. WCNU Live, check them out. They'll be back on the air now that the college semester is starting up again. It's a really cool talk radio show that my buddy Gorby Hunt does every Thursday from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So check him out and let him know that you're listening and that you love him and that Earth Power sent you. And yeah, guys, leave a like, comment, subscribe, leave me that big thumbs up, and hopefully I will see you next time. Alright, YouTube. Peace.